I wasn't planning at all to go out and record this video, and to be honest, I think this video is not worth watching now by the end of the summer 2025. But if you are curious to know about it, stick with me till the end of this video. Hello there, I hope you're good. I'm Photorabs, a portrait photographer based in France, and I like creating content about these action cams. And to be honest, it's been about a year I'm playing with these cameras. I got the GoPro Hero 13 Black when it was released, and then I returned it, but I found myself buying it again just before the release of the GoPro Hero 14. I don't know if I made the good decision or not. And I just wanted to go outside to have a walk, to use this camera, the GoPro Hero 13 Black, but I thought, why not putting it against the Ace Pro 2 and the Action 5 Pro to make like these cameras, a video about these cameras a year after the release. I don't know if it's really worth it now. We will see very soon the Action 6 Pro, the Ace Pro 3 and the GoPro Hero 14 Black. So I don't know really if I'm losing my time by recording this video or not. So basically, I will not talk about the specs of these cameras. You already know everything about them. I will not talk about the size, shape, the positive things of this camera over the others, and the negative things for this camera over the others. I will not shoot in low light conditions. I'll just have a walk, enjoy the hot sun. It's 32 degrees now and it's getting so hot, and it's been a few minutes I'm out and I started to sweat, so bear with me. I have everything set to auto. The auto exposure and the exposure compensation on the GoPro is set to minus 0.5 because I don't have the exact same things as the Ace Pro 2 and the Action 5 Pro. They were set at minus 0.7, I mean the exposure compensation. And I'll not make this video in French because I don't have any script about it. I'm preparing my full review of the Osmo 360 as well as some other very interesting content. But now I really want to just have fun with these cameras, because soon I will have, of course, some comparisons with the GoPro Hero 14, with the Action 6 and the Ace Pro 3 whenever these cameras will be released. So I don't know, if you have the choice to pick one of these three, which one will it be and why? Because since the release of these cameras, they got lots of firmware updates, they got lots of improvements in terms of settings, image quality, usability, user experience. So yeah, what are your thoughts about these three images? And I tried to put just in the previous section like few B-rolls. Did you guess which was the image of the GoPro and which was the image of the Action 5 Pro and which was the one of the Ace Pro 2? Let me know that down below, and let's go that way now. And I got an idea, why not talking about some wish list for the perfect action camera. Actually, these three cameras are great. All of them, each excels in some scenes, in some situations, and is mediocre in some other situations. But what is the best features that we would like to see as consumers in one single action camera, in order not to carry with us the three of them, and lots of batteries, chargers, and so on. So what are the basic things, or what are the essential things that we would like to see in such cameras? Well, actually, it's like a very tough question, and I'm quite sure that all the three companies, all the three brands, they know exactly what we are waiting and what we need. But I don't know why they aren't delivering this stuff for us. They are still like progressing slowly. GoPro is the least one to progress actually, and let's be honest, even though the camera is quite nice, but I don't know why they are not evaluating in the right way, on the right track, as we all want them to go on. But I'm quite sure that the GoPro Hero 14 will be better than the previous cameras. I mean, the Hero 13, the Hero 12, 11, 10 maybe. So I think that the Hero 14 is going to be something different from what we used to see from GoPro in the last couple of years. On the other side, the Action 6 has something hidden on the leaked images. We cannot see anything written on the lens, which is not something that we are used to see on the leaked images of the Action series from DJI. And that means that they are hiding something. It could be the 1-inch sensor. It could be a bigger sensor than the 1/1.3 inches. Or it could be the same, but they don't want people to be aggressive about them before the release of the camera. So we can think about it in both ways. But according to the information I got from DJI stores in London, this camera, the Action 6, will absolutely have a bigger sensor than the previous camera. Well, it could be slightly bigger. It could be like 1/1.28, like the one that we have on the Insta360 X5, you know, or it could be maybe bigger than that, but I don't have any exact information about it yet. But whenever I'll have things to share with you concerning the sensor size and the specs of the Action 6, I will share them as soon as possible. But concerning the Ace Pro 2, well, let's have another walk and we talk about the Ace Pro 3. Concerning the Ace Pro 3, well, the only thing I'm quite sure about is that it will have a bigger sensor compared to the Ace Pro 2. That's 100% sure. There is no doubt about it. And it will have better battery performance. That's another thing that I'm sure about it 100%. But there are some other things that I would like to see on this camera. And don't get me wrong, it's not about the 10-bit and 8-bit, and this topic about 8 and 10-bit is still something that is running over the media, over the social media, and I'm quite sure that most of people talking about that, they don't know exactly what is it about. But anyway, we will maybe talk about that in another part of this video. But there is something that I would like to see on the Ace Pro 3 from Insta360, and I mean the capability of having a front screen. Even though now we have the flip-up screen, and it's something very nice. I rely on it almost all of the time. But you know, there are moments where I personally like to have a front screen. I know that this will have like overheating or an excessive heating impact on the camera, maybe more use of the battery, and yeah, but I think this is something that personally I would like to see, because there are moments I had that in London. I was using this camera and there were moments where I was filming myself and I wanted to turn to the other side quickly. So yeah, even though I'm a big fan of this flip-up screen, but if we have a mixture of a flip-up screen with a small front screen, just a small one, not as big as the one that we have on the Action 5 Pro, I'll be more than happy. What do you think? let's go there. It's a little bit shady, so we can continue our vlog there. And here I set the exposure compensation to 0 on all 3 cameras, 4K 25 frames per second. Well, I have the 10-bit on the GoPro, the 10-bit on the DJI, but only the 8-bit for the Ace Pro 2. And to be honest, this is not of a big deal. And let me explain. Actually, of course, having 10-bit will allow us to have more colors, more information. We can color grade better, and there is no doubt about that at all. But how many of us are like post-processing the footage coming out of these cameras, whether these ones or the 360 cameras, except of reframing for 360? How many of us are passing time to color grade this footage? We basically use the lot available on the DJI website or on the GoPro website, and we throw it, or we use just the color grading that is built in on the DJI and GoPro application to just give the image back its colors. But this is not the real color grading, and this is just applying a lot to the image, the flat image, the log image. And this is not about color grading. This part is just transforming the color profile from log to Rec 709, and this is just the basic part of color grading. Color grading is way more complicated and way different than that. And add to that, almost, well, a huge number of monitors displays are not 10-bit these days. We are in 2025, and these monitors and displays are basically 8-bit. So why we need 10-bit? Especially if we'd like to get the footage to share them with friends, just like what happened with me last week in London. I was filming with these cameras along with some others, such as the X5, the Osmo 360, and some other cameras, and I was so happy to be able to get the footage directly to my phone, to just make few things like cut the beginning, the end, and just get some nice simple footage from them and send it over to my friends. And yeah, this is how I use these cameras. And to be honest, I didn't like to put effort and time to get my computer or to post process or to color grade, or so in these cases I think there are lots of people just like me in this kind of situation where it's good to have 10-bit if you'd like to match the camera with some other cameras. But still, I have something to say about that. But is it really necessary to have 10-bit? And what are the advantages? What are the real advantages of 10-bit? Especially that we basically use the footage just like they are. And if we'd like to talk about matching colors from a camera to another, of course, having a computer that allows us to color grade and this stuff is of a big help to be able to match things, to be able to match image from one camera to another camera. But the process is not easy at all. It's not about applying a lot here to make it work. Because even on DJI, on the Osmo Pocket 3, on the Osmo 360, and on the Action 5 Pro, we don't have the same D-Log M 10-bit. This is the same name, the same position on the camera, I mean, where we can check that, where we can use that or not, activate it or not, but the result is not the same. That's why DJI, they have different lots. You have one for the Action 5 Pro, one for the Osmo 360, and one for the Pocket 3. You cannot use the lot of the Pocket 3 on this camera and so on. So that means that these cameras do not have the same D-Log M kind of videos, kind of specification or kind of settings for the videos recorded. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but matching images, lots of people are talking about that in the comments on my videos, matching colors between images, and to be honest, I rarely see them using two cameras in one single video, except when they are comparing probably two, and well, when they compare them, they try to use standard profiles. So I don't see the benefits of that. at all, especially once again for those who are pretending, or those who are saying that they need the 10-bit on these cameras. And don't get me wrong, on my big cameras, whenever I'm doing events and so on, I like shooting in 10-bit. I like shooting in the highest resolution possible, in the highest bitrate possible. But lots of customers, they don't need that. I've been asked in a very big event that I was shooting a few months ago to shoot only in 1080 because they only need to publish that on LinkedIn and these kind of social networks. They don't need to use these videos on big screens, they don't need to use these videos on larger screens and so on. So I had my Sony camera, the Fuji cameras, I had the Nikon Z6 III I think also, but I was shooting only in 1080. And whenever I shot few stuff on in 4K, it was just to get some footage for myself, because I like to use them on my show reel in 4K just to mix them with some other footage. But basically everything was shot in 1080, and well, basically people will ask you to shoot in 1080 and they won't ask you to shoot in 8-bit or 10-bit or whatsoever for any event that I've been shooting for the last couple of years. So last time I made the comparison between the 8-bit and 10-bit, I was using two DJI Action 5 Pro, and lots of people didn't get them right. You know, they thought that the 8-bit footage was the 10-bit and vice versa, because there is not much of a difference when we export this footage on YouTube, for example. You won't see that difference, and the only difference that we can see is the camera angle, because I had the camera side by side. I highly invite you to go watch those videos, by the way. I had the camera side by side and they weren't having the sun and the light with the same angle of incidence, so of course the response of the sensor was not perfectly the same, and that was the only difference that I noticed in the colors and in the images. But other than that, lots of people were tricked by that video. They thought that it was a clickbait video, because, and some others tried to insult me because I was changing the screens from A to B. Well, once the 10-bit was on A, the second part was on B, and so on, just to confuse people. And that was the game back then, to see if the people that are watching, they really know what is the 10-bit and what is the 8-bit. But unfortunately, lots of us, we need the highest specs possible. And a small tiny little camera, we don't want it to overheat, we don't want it to fog, we don't want it to be scratched, we don't want, you know, all the bad stuff. And at the same time, we want the highest spec possible at the lowest price possible. And yeah, I don't know. I think for this summer or September 2025, we'll be seeing the GoPro Hero 14, we will be seeing the Action 6, and later on, maybe in October, we will see the Ace Pro 3, and the three cameras will have increase in price, and they won't be as they won't have the same price as the Action 5 Pro, the Ace Pro 2, nor the GoPro Hero 13 Black, even though they won't have the highest spec possible and they won't have all the wish list that we want to see on these cameras. But the price will go up, and that will be another kind of videos where I'll be comparing these cameras, and I'm sure I'll be getting lots of bad comments and lots of great comments on the videos. Some people are so happy, will be so happy to see them side by side. Some others will try just to criticize me for preferring one over the other, or preferring the colors of one over the other, or the usability of one over the other. But once again, these are preferences. What I prefer does not mean this is the best thing possible and the best thing available out there. And what I like does not mean that you must like the same thing. On my channel, I'm sharing with you real footage so you can make your own idea about them, and I'm sharing also my thoughts and my opinions about them in a way that fits my work and my use case. So I won't go with these cameras to do some divings, because I don't do that. I would like to make some paragliding, but I don't have that here in my region, but I would like to do some of these activities soon. But yeah, for the majority of the time I'm using them to vlog and to make this kind of content, this kind of like comparisons. But yeah, I know that we cannot make everyone happy, and that's something for sure. And everything I'm sharing on my channel is totally my thoughts and my ideas and my opinions, even though we don't share the same preferences, we don't have the same preferences, even though we don't have the same taste. That's not a problem, that's totally right. You can prefer the 10-bit for these cameras, you can prefer 8-bit, you can prefer these colors, you can prefer those colors, you can prefer these menus, you can prefer that menu. We are not arguing about that. Everyone has his own preferences about this stuff, and you can go with the one that fits your needs better, with the one that can make you happier, that can make you a better content creator, that can help you create in a fast way, in a very impressive and a very efficient way. You know, you don't need the new and the brand new camera that will be released in September or October if one of these cameras or even the previous generations are fitting your need in a great way. You know, you don't have to spend your money on new gears if what you have is already satisfying you. And that was it. Now I'm going back home. I will just put these videos in the fastest way possible to be able to upload them today, because I have lots of content coming this week. Some are already finished and prepared and ready to be posted, to be published, to go live, and some others are ongoing that I'll finish filming tomorrow probably, and I'll start editing them, well, probably tomorrow or on Tuesday. Everything I shot in London will be posted probably this week and the week after. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to let me know your thoughts about it. Don't forget to hit like, to subscribe, to ring the bell so you will not miss my upcoming posts. And if you have a wish list for the upcoming generations of these cameras, let me know that down below. That could be interesting to make maybe an email for these brands to ask them to include your wish list in the upcoming camera that they will release. Thanks for watching, and ciao for now.